So you're part of the circus here that's called FLNW, and you feel like a participating audience member?
Yes, when I walked into this room I realized that here was rings of activity going on. It was all very entertaining and exciting, and I want to participate, but I'm also more in an audience.
Right. And would you say you're participating in just, the style of how Lee's explaining this to you?
Oh yes, yes. Well, it feels to me like my very presence here contributes to the process.
Right.
Regardless of whether my fingers are on the keyboard.
Right. Okay. And would you be able to start taking what Lee's just showing you and using it yourself? Do you reckon?
I think with practice, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll have to go to the circus summer school.
Thank you.
I think it's an important thing you just said there, that just by being here you're contributing, because a lot of people, even in our group, feel like that they're, what am I here for? Because they don't feel like they're very vocal, they're a bit more shy than the rest of them and stuff, and try to explain just by being here is enough.
But I think that my sense is the nature of learning has a lot to do with what's happening in the meta sphere as well as what's happening in the specific skill-based activities.
So metasphere, would that be the how this space feels and how you perceive the activity in a way?
I don't know if you're familiar with. He's an English guy and I quite liked him, but it's the notion that that there is a collective mind,
right?
And as individuals we connect into that collective mind.
Yes.
Morphic resonance is the name.
Okay.
The guy's name will come to me who coined that phrase. So as a learner, I have an individual consciousness in fact, but I'm also connecting into the metasphere or the morphic resonance.
Right. Okay.
And so the ideas that come through me or come through the experience aren't necessarily resident in this moment.
Yes.
They are resident in a moment that is accessible at any time from any place.
Yes.
By anyone. Is how I would think.
And that's very much parallel, if not exactly the same as what we're working on. We're just using, I don't know,
and the technology
the word network to
network and stuff. It's the same concept, but on a more focused scale, I guess, or more, just different way of, different parameters and way of explaining it.
In the context of education.
Yeah, sort of. I mean, we're talking about internet, computers, keyboards, and things like that, rather than that sort of language.
Yes. Yes.
I couldn't try to.
But the parallel is like evident, in the way you explained it.
Well, I would say the language I'm using is more an energetic language.
Yes.
Rather than a specific tool-based language. And the hardware has its own language.
Yes.
But what comes to my mind is spider web. And of course we have the World Wide Web.
Yes.
And so I think about the spider making the web.
Yes.
When something happens on that web, the spider knows about it.
Yeah.
And the question would be, is it the actual physicality that raises the awareness of the spider that something's happening on the web? Or would the spider, in creating that web, also have created a whole energy field that it is responding to?
Right.
That very much relates to the talk we do about you can provide a website or a learning resource to a student. You can provide them a textbook and then think your job is done or something like that, and that knowledge will then be transmitted and all that sort of thing. But what we're really talking about is to get people with the capacity to create their own website so that they have a sense of ownership of the content and help in building it and participating in it, so that they become very familiar with the content, just like the spider web, they become very familiar with every aspect of the web and the energy around that, which is what we're generating by creating the videos and all the photos and everything like that. We're all very aware of where the content is and how it relates, and we're always talking about it and thinking about it, rather than it being just, here's the link to visit this website that we had some designer make. We just passed all our photographs to that designer and said, please create us something, and we wouldn't be familiar with it. We'd be familiar with individual photos, but how it was made and how it all interrelates, we wouldn't know.
And the interesting thing is that it's an emotional connection that we're trying to show people how they can have with their own creation, and to help them get through life, and through that you know, connection, that emotional connection, hopefully that will lead to better quality of how they engage with other people and how they do their work.
Well, I would suggest maybe then rather just emotional, that it's multi-sensory,
yes,
multi-dimensional. Because it seems to me one of those basic things about being human is the feeling of belonging.
Yes.
And the more fragmented our attention becomes,
yes,
at times that kind of existential angst comes in, like, who am I, where do I belong?
That's definitely what Damu is saying when
yes,
we debate to be wide world open,
yes,
compared to a private space where we can connect and focus on
yes,
things, because there's some people in our group very much talk for wide openness, you know, just put it all up and be very, very public, and then others are responding to that with that angst that you're talking about. No, I need my private space. And unfortunately, there's two. It's difficult to get the two to mutually exist with the technology we're working with, I think.
yes. It's not an either or, I think, that we're trying to grapple with.
That was his name.
Rupert Sheldrake. Okay.
Rupert Sheldrake. He's very interesting. If you want to check him out, you can probably Google him and he'll be online somewhere. But he is an English philosopher, physicist.
Right.
That's his term that he uses, morphic resonance,
Okay.
which is the collective mind, which I think is really quite pertinent to what's happening, the phenomenon that's happening, which is technology enabled, but I think the phenomenon was going to happen whether we had the technology or not.
Exactly.
I mean, it's nice we've got these, but it's kind of like Alexander Graham Bell holding up this great, huge thing. I can actually talk at a distance.
Yes.
What was the name of that person? I'm just getting to the page where I need to put that in now. So, what was the name of that person you said?
Rupert.
And the just get
Sheldrake. Cheldrake.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, he's one of many people that think this way, but I like him because he's approached it from a very pragmatic, scientific, you know, he has a kind of